Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's June 11th, 2016. I woke up with the intention of making a video about the death of Gordie Howe and how that connected to the NBA Finals game that was played yesterday. Gordie Howe died in Ohio. The NBA Finals game was in Ohio. This video is about that. It's also now about the death of Christina Grimmie, the 22-year-old The Voice winner, who was supposedly gunned down yesterday in Orlando, Florida. So we're going to talk about Gordie Howe. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. We're going to talk about her death and a few other things. As I routinely say, in the time of sports championships, celebrities are ritually sacrificed by the numbers, no matter how young, no matter how old they are. Gordie Howe was 88, Christina was 22, and I assure you that neither of these people died naturally. Many parallels between their deaths, which we'll get to. So, yesterday, June 10th, 2016, a date with 52 numerology, and also June 10th in most parts of the world is written day before month, so 10/6, a lot like 106. The numbers 52 and 106 connect to prophecy. Prophecy is very important to the Masons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, who rule over this world. Revelation is the book of prophecy, and all of the wrongdoing by these madmen tyrants who rule over us, they use these numbers of prophecy. Gordie Howe, who passed, was known as Mr. Hockey. Some say he's the greatest hockey player ever. He won 4 championships. He lost 7. He competed in 11. Mr. Hockey has gematria 44 and 98, just like the word prophet. Prophet, prophecy. These things often go together. Gordie Howe retired professionally at age 52. And then he dies on this date with 52 numerology, which we'll talk more about. I did a video yesterday morning on the funeral procession for Muhammad Ali, why it was 19 miles, what that had to do with the Quran code. There might be a parallel between Muhammad Ali's death, considered the greatest boxer, and the death of Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe played for the Detroit Red Wings for the majority of his career. They play in Joe Louis Arena. If you've never been there, this giant fist is outside of the arena. That's Joe Louis's fist, a boxer. Picture of Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis right here. They never fought because Muhammad Ali is much younger than Joe Louis. Joe Louis coming before him. Picture of Gordie Howe as a younger man. Born in Floral, Saskatchewan, March 31st, 1928. Dead June 10th, 2016 in Toledo, Ohio. And what I would like to know is why he was in Toledo, Ohio. We'll talk more about Toledo, Ohio in just a moment. Detroit Red Wings, one of the greatest hockey franchises in NHL history. Notice that they have the gematria of 82 games in a hockey season. I just did a video talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins briefly. Got my prediction wrong for the game, but I did talk about the significance of 82 in the NBA and hockey, seasons that run parallel to each other, 82 games, special number in those leagues. His playing career began in 1946, ended in 80. The word sacrifice equals 46. Again, retired at age 52, dead on a date with 52 numerology. His birth numerology is identical to the next NBA Finals game coming up, which will be in Oracle Arena. Oracle equals 54. Keep that in mind if Golden State closes out the series in the next game. With regards to him being born on March 31st, a date that can be written 3/31, that's the 67th prime number. The word hockey equals 67. This man's considered a hockey legend, so he's born on a fitting date, tying in with his profession, his sport, something we see often in these celebrity athletes. The phrase blood sacrifice also has gematria of 67. There's always celebrity deaths around championship time. I know in the NHL playoffs that 2 people connected to the Philadelphia Flyers, an owner and a former player, have died. Think about how Penguins are in the championship from Pennsylvania, just like Philadelphia. There's been a lot of Philadelphia deaths with basketball this year as well. Hockey, the small way, also sums to 31. He's born on the 31st day. From his 88th birthday until the date he died yesterday was 71 days. And why does that stand out? Because he played with the Red Wings until the year 1971, who he's remembered for playing with. He dies 71 days after his birthday. He dies in Toledo. And what does Toledo equal in gematria? It equals 71. Playing career with the Red Wings, 46 to 71, retired, came back and played with his sons. Toledo, Ohio also has gematria of 118, a number often found around death. Death equals 118. If the NBA Finals end with the next game in Oracle Arena, it will have been the 118th game all time between the Cavs and the Warriors. Keep all this in mind. These celebrity sacrifices, they're by the numbers, they're tributes to what's to come. 118. His birth name, Gordon, fitting for being a Detroit Red Wing. 37-37. Finally retired at age 52, as we said. Dead on a date with 52 numerology. Prophecy. Mr. Hockey ties into prophet. In his playing career, he won 4 championships. 1950 against the New York Rangers. 3 times against the Montreal Canadiens. 52. He won in 52. 54, 55. And he lost 7 times. You know, think about LeBron James. He's about to become 2-4 in NBA Finals. LeBron James equals 42. 2-4, the reflection of 4-2. You know, LeBron James, before it's all said and done, we might see him go to 11 NBA Finals and win 4 and lose 7. Ohio equals 47. You know, this could be future foreshadowing for what LeBron's career holds. As I've said, LeBron is a freak. We might see him play into his 40s. He might play to 42 even longer. But they lost their championships against Toronto, Montreal, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal. Pretty redundant. His nickname, Gordie Howe. Gordie has that gematria of 58, like Freemasonry. He died the day after, June 9th, the day after the Penguins lost at home to the San Jose Sharks. Stanley equals 96, Freemason equals 96. The Stanley Cup, it's the Freemasons who run all of these sports leagues by the numbers. For the record, you know, I really thought that the Penguins were going to close it out September 6th. Everything lined up as far as I could tell. Then again, I don't follow hockey, so I don't know the larger narratives. But what I can tell you is Penguins equals 42. San Jose Sharks equals 42. If the Penguins win the next game in San Jose, the series will close out 4-2 in favor of the Penguins. I notice a lot of times in the world of sports where it's championships that are 7-game series, it seems that oftentimes the series ends on the road. And I think the reason this might be is because the powers that be are assholes. And think about it. When you win on the road, the home team doesn't get to celebrate as much, and the losing team gets to feel worse about it because the championship ended in their city. And the people who run these leagues are the sickest, cruelest people. So it makes sense they would do it this way in the way they operate. Gordie Howe also has gematria of 64, what he was most commonly called. Yeah, I spelled it wrong there, but it's still the same gematria, same letters. Gordie Howe equals 64. He died at 88, 8 times 8, 64. Is there something there? Maybe. Cleveland, the city, hadn't won a championship since 64. It seems that is to remain. If they do come back to win Cleveland, it'll be their first pro sports championship now in 52 years. The number of prophecy, that seems unlikely. You know, a lot of people come here and they say, okay, I see how they rig all these other sports, but not hockey. All of the leagues are rigged. They're all controlled. They're all gambling. If there's gambling on sports, they're rigged. How do you think these guys get the point spread so exact? You know, a lot of you try to convince yourselves that they're a smart group of people that have it down to a science. There's no such thing as having a sports score down to a science. You know, you can't predict the future of what a sports score is going to be unless it's rigged. People aren't thinking. Anyhow, the first ever hockey championship was awarded March 17th, 1893. That's a date with numerology of 131. You know, I'm working on this book right now showing how everything has been by the numbers since the beginning of this nation and even really before that. 131, the big championship number. Championship 131. Super Bowl 131. When you write out 57, it equals 131. That's because they code 57 a lot into sports championships. World Series equals 57. Again, in case you've never been here, 57 days after this past World Series, Dave Henderson dropped dead at age 57. Henderson equals 57. The last team he played for was the Kansas City Royals, who won the World Series. Always related sacrifice in these sports championships. So to bring it back to prophecy, here was a comical article that ABC put out yesterday. 106-year-old superfan Sweetie cheers on beloved Warriors. And as I've been explaining for more than a year, Philadelphia is named from the book of Revelation, the final book in the Bible. Revelation is the book of prophecy. The number 106 represents prophecy. Last year, before the NBA Finals, there was a 106-mile-per-hour train wreck in Philadelphia. This year, the day before the college championship, there was a 106-mile-per-hour train wreck in Philadelphia, and Villanova won just outside of Philadelphia. The Warriors are originally from Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Warriors defeated the Chicago Stags in 1947, the first NBA championship. And something I documented in one of the earlier games of the NBA Finals was the parallel between the Warriors and Bulls, whose win record they eclipsed this year, also from Chicago. I said if the Warriors win the series, I expect them to three-peat. You know, an early prediction for next season, should the Warriors close out the series, win the finals again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Warriors and Bulls NBA championship next year for another tribute by the numbers, a tribute to history. Just recognize, though, that this story is complete bullshit. That's all the mainstream media feeds people is bullshit. On my blog, you can see over several months how the mainstream media will release stories about old people that are riddles for other things. For example, there was a 1-month period of time where the media reported this in successive weeks. First, they reported that I don't remember the exact age, but they reported something like a 112-year-old person dies, world's oldest person dead. 112. Then 2 weeks later, somebody dies supposedly at age 116, and they're saying the world's oldest person has now died. But think about that. If somebody 112 died 2 weeks before somebody who's 116, how could have that 112-year-old been reported as the world's oldest person? The mainstream media does this kind of stuff all the time. They're just reporting nonsense. They don't expect anybody to pick up on it. But if you follow what they report the way I do, you see just how bullshit all this is. A 112-year-old dies, they're the oldest person. 2 weeks later, somebody 116, now they're the oldest person. 2 weeks after that, somebody 114, now they're the oldest person. The stuff that's reported in the news, from train crashes to dead old people to everything else, it's mostly all just riddles and clues for the next thing to come. This world of pro sports, the world of news, it's all synced up. We're about to talk about the streaker last night at the end of the NBA Finals and how that was part of the script of the game. You remember Sweetie has this gematria of 226. It's one of these numbers they love to code. It eludes me a little bit. Last night at 2 minutes and 26 seconds in the first quarter, LeBron James picked up a big foul. Steph Curry flopping to the ground. It's all an act by the numbers. Sweetie has this gematria. This old lady, 106, is supposedly named Sweetie. I'm sure this person doesn't even exist. You know, this is probably all Photoshop right here. Golden State Warriors shirt. But anyway, Sweetie has gematria of 32, 41, 86. The NBA Finals was renamed that in 1986. 41's the huge number on this NBA basketball season. Golden State equals 41. Kobe Bryant equals 41. Joe Jellybean Bryant drafted 14th overall 41 years ago. The NBA season closed out with the Warriors and the Lakers final games of the season, scripted games, scripted tributes. Sweetie also equals 32 like America. The number 131, the championship number, is the 32nd prime number. Yeah, after I saw that article yesterday, I started to think, uh-oh, maybe it is in the bag for the Warriors. And then I also noticed how, think about this, the NBA Finals began June 2nd. June 2nd, it was a date with 44 numerology, the Warriors in their 44th year of being in Golden State. Last year they beat Cleveland in their 44th year of being in the league. Anyhow, the NBA Finals started June 2nd. The second game was June 5th, 3 days later. The third game was June 8th, 3 days later. The fourth game was June 10th, 2 days later. And if you look out at the spacing of the rest of the NBA Finals, they're all 3 games apart. This was the only game that was 2 days apart. And the reason why is because they had to have the game on Prophecy Day. Again, yesterday, date with 52 numerology that can be written 10/6, Prophecy 52 and 106. It's been a huge number in pro sports. Prophecy typically goes in favor of the Philadelphia team because Philadelphia is named from Revelation, the book of prophecy. The Warriors originally from Philadelphia. All year, people connected to Philadelphia have been dying in basketball. I said to look out for this before the season even began, with the Pope leaving Philadelphia on the Jesuit order's birthday. First Jesuit Pope. Ever since, deaths left and right connected to Philadelphia. And even in the days before that, Daryl Dawkins, Moses Malone, Dolph Shays, the scorekeeper that had been with the team since 1947. He died 106 days after his birthday. Been documenting all of this all year and more. You know, the Thunder player, his brother dies in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Just talked about the Philadelphia Flyer deaths. This is what you support when you support pro sports. When you go out and buy their jerseys, you buy their merchandise, you buy their NBA League Pass, you give your money to the murderers who are wasting everyone's time, rigging sports, ritually sacrificing people. If that's what you want to invest in, that makes you part of the problem. So anyway, yesterday I got home just in time to catch the score at 22-22, made me laugh. It was on a long pause at 22-22. It went to TV timeout. Basketball equals 22. The Cavs were trying to even the series 2-2, as it says. After the game, Christina Grimmie dies at age 22. No surprise. Murder by numbers, ritual sacrifice. I noticed at the end of the first quarter, the score was 29-28, a sum of 57 points. Remember, Cleveland finished the season with 57 wins in the regular season. 57, our number, when you write it out, it connects to championship that we talked about. Ohio also has the gematria of 29. Interesting that Golden State had Ohio's number being up by a point after the first quarter. You have to remember, these games are scripted to the point. Second quarter, I'm just making some notes here that we're going over. The second quarter, LeBron James gets the dunk, bringing the score to 44 points. King James equals 44. Last year in Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Warriors in their 44th, or not Warriors, Cleveland in their 44th season of being in the league. LeBron scores 44 in Game 1. So typical. He took the score from 42 to 44 on this basket. LeBron James 42, King James 44. At halftime, the score was 55-50, a sum of 105 points, a tribute to the Zionists and Masons who run the league. Zionism 105, Masonry equals 105. Also, from the start of the NBA playoffs, which was April 16th, typically the 106th day of the year, something I documented. You know, all this time, even though I've been favoring the Cavs, saying if the Cavs don't win this year, they'll probably never win. A lot lines up for the Cavs. I have been saying all this time, if you think it's the Warriors, trust your instincts because there's a major narrative. One of the points I made was the NBA playoffs starting on April 16th, typically the 106th day of the year, when the number of prophecy always goes in the favor of the Philadelphia team. The college championship this year was Villanova, just outside of Philly, versus North Carolina, who was in their 106th year of being a basketball program. Villanova won by the numbers, all synced up with the Pope's visit. If you haven't seen my work on the college championship, you can see that it was to the point, synced up perfectly with when the Pope left the country through Philadelphia. Anyhow, from April 16th, the start of the playoffs, to June 10th, 55 days, 55 points at halftime. All of these scores are scripted to the point at the end of each quarter. It's all part of an ongoing tribute. The end of the third quarter, the score was 79-77. The Cavs only scored 22 points in the third quarter. 22 points in the third quarter, kind of like 2-2-3. You know, Kyrie Irving number 2, LeBron number 23, Kevin Love 0, 2-2-3, Masonic equals 2-2-3, the Synagogue of Satan equals 2-2-3, Flip Saunders, born in Cleveland on February 23rd, 2-2-3. They're always showing out with these 2-2-3 tributes. Here was Obama on Jimmy Fallon the other night. Obama, Jimmy Fallon. Look at this headline. Daddy's got a Hawaiian vacation booked in about 223 days. And notice how they say about. From the day this show happened until Obama's last day when he leaves office, January 20th, when the next president comes in, was actually 225 days. But they just want to put this number out there, 223. This is what they show out with. These people are all about their numbers. All of you who come here and dismiss this work, I don't know what's wrong with you. Has to be low IQ points or something like that. Because this is right in your face, undeniable, every day, if you know what to look for. Flip Saunders, the first game of the season was Minnesota Timberwolves, the team he coached, versus Los Angeles Lakers. The game ended in 223 points, just like I said to look out for. Tribute to the death of Flip Saunders. At the end of the third quarter, it was also a combined 156 points. Very special number. When you write out 33, it equals 156. If you write out February 2nd as words, it equals 156. That's the 33rd day of the year. Cleveland equals 33. NBA Finals equals 33. Stephen, he spells his name like Steven, but he calls himself Stephen, 33. So many stars in the history of the NBA are 33. Michael, Kobe, Vincent, and more. Special number to the Masons, number of obsession, 223 Masonic. You know, just to drop some knowledge on you about 156, 106, all this stuff coming together. April 16th, when the NBA Finals began, 9 years earlier, April 16th, 2007, that was the date that 33 people were supposedly killed in Blacksburg, Virginia, at the Virginia Tech shooting. The shooting lasted 156 minutes. 156 minutes. The killer supposedly bought his gun on February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. Blacksburg equals 33, where the campus is at. Prophecy, 33, 156. These numbers show up in shooting hoaxes throughout the years, sports championships, September 11th, and so much more. These people are very redundant when you know what numbers to look for. LeBron James, he got a dunk to score the 83rd points. That was the last time Cleveland took the lead. 83 is the 23rd prime. LeBron wears 23. The Warriors would then go on a 12-1 run. 12-1. They put the stat up on the screen. Warriors equals 121, a lot like that 12-1 run. Revelation equals 121. Philadelphia, named from Revelation, the book of prophecy. Warriors from Philadelphia. At the end, the score got stuck on 93-84 for a very long time. Both special numbers. Oracle Arena equals 93. LeBron, born in 84. Both of these numbers connect to the name of the nation. They're just tributes. When you see a score get stuck for a long time, pay attention to the numbers. They're numbers that they're trying to put before your eyes. Curry would hit a dagger three-pointer, bringing the score to 96. Freemason, 96. Golden State would win with 108 points. Curry scored the final 2 game points at the free throw line. He took the line with 106 points, 8.2 seconds, puts in the final 2. Golden State Warriors equals 108. Last year, they won Game 1 of the NBA Finals with 108 points. It's a joke. It's a joke. And now we're about to talk about 97. 97 and how that connected to the streaker that ran on the court at the end of the game. LeBron also scored 25 points last night. 97 is the 25th prime number. His team loses with 97. He scores 25. Both teams took 81 shots. Gordie Howe had that birth numerology of 81. Interesting that Golden State made 33 in the win for the NBA Finals, which has gematria of 33. So think about this. Cleveland goes down 1-3 in Cleveland in LeBron's 13th season. We talked about the 41s with Golden State. 41 is the 13th prime number. The word king equals 41. The king goes down 1-3 in his home city in his 13th season. And as I routinely point out, the powers that be, they love to punk the city of Cleveland in sports. They always make the Browns a laughingstock. Think about the movie Major League, Cleveland Indians. They love to laugh at Cleveland. Cleveland, the only city with gematria of 33, often a number that you don't want in pro sports championships. The color orange equals 33, as I've pointed out in earlier videos. The team wearing orange typically loses in the championship. Denver Broncos, a team that wears orange, is 0-4 when wearing orange in the championships. They also put up a stat at the end of the game that teams that are down 3-1 in the NBA Finals are 0-32 in history. That means Cleveland's now the 33rd team to be in this situation. If they lose, the record will be 0-33. For a slight glimmer of hope for Cleveland, LeBron's currently 31 years old. We just saw the Golden State Warriors come back from down 3-1, becoming the 10th team to do that in the playoffs to come back and win the series. Here's what's interesting about that. Basketball equals 22. With the S exception, it equals 31. The name Curry equals 31. They came back from down 3-1. And if you remember what happened, Curry scored 29 points in Game 7, but the next day they said they made a mistake and they credited 2 points to Draymond Green that really belonged to Curry. So they bumped Curry's stats up to 31 points. Curry equals 31. Basketball equals 31. They give him 31 points in the game that wins the series after coming back from down 3-1. LeBron is currently 31 years old. If Cleveland goes to Golden State and wins in the next game, it'll come back to Cleveland. They'll have a chance to even the series. It would go back to Golden State for Game 7. It's possible. I've been thinking this is Cleveland's year to win. If there's ever a year, it could happen. But based on the way things went last night, I told myself whoever won last night was going to win the series. With so much being centered around prophecy, I expect Golden State to win at this point. I don't expect anyone to give me credit if Golden State wins. That's not what I want. My work is all about documenting how sports are rigged. It's not about me getting predictions right. I want people to understand that sports are rigged to the point, which I should have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to everyone by now. And I also want people to understand how sick this is and how people are getting murdered by the numbers and connections to championships. That's what's important here, not predicting who wins. Because really, that's meaningless. These games are scripted. Who cares who wins? I know a lot of you are trying to make money gambling, so that's all you worry about, but my work's not about making money. It's about exposing the sickness, getting the grown men to wake up, to get off their fat asses, and see what they're actually watching. All of these sports leagues are a sick, rigged joke. If Cleveland does come back, the record would be 1-32. What that reminds me of is the Philadelphia train wreck last year. May 12th, the date it happened is the 132nd day of the year. Catholic Church equals 132. We talked about the Pope, the Catholic Church connections. LeBron played his high school basketball at a Catholic school like most NBA athletes. You look at the guys in this league, over half of them went to Catholic schools. The train wreck was supposedly at 9:23 p.m. last year. LeBron James in Jewish gematria equals 9:23. He starred in the movie Trainwreck by the numbers after the NBA Finals last year. This is also really interesting right here. From the start of the NBA season, which was October 27th, until yesterday's game, June 10th, was 227 days. 227 days, a very special number. If you divide 22 by 7, you get the number 3.14, having to do with pi, cycles and circles that you learned about in geometry. You know, pi r squared, 2 pi r. If you write out 22 divided by 7 in gematria, it sums to 314. 314, a lot like 3.14 for pi. Steph Curry, the star of the Warriors, is born March 14th, which we know is Pi Day. It's a lot like 3.14. From March 14th, Steph Curry's birthday, to yesterday, June 10th, was 88 days, or 2 months and 27 days. The Warriors got their 88th win of the season yesterday. Gordie Howe died earlier in the day at age 88. There was a whole lot of 88 in the media. Almost all the headlines yesterday were 88. From Kim Jong-un to Donald Trump to Mitt Romney, the Mormon. I documented on my blog how everyone was coding out 88 yesterday, and then lo and behold, the Warriors get their 88th win of the season. 88 days after Steph Curry's birthday. And with regards to this double 227 coding on the date from the start of the season from Steph Curry's birthday, 227 is the 49th prime number. Warriors, the small way, 49. The big way, 121. Revelation, the big way, 121. 49, the small way. Again, Revelation, where Philadelphia gets its name from, where the Warriors are originally from. Remember, Prince went to the game on March 3rd between the Thunder and Warriors, and the Warriors won 121 to 106. On February 27th, the Warriors also defeated the Thunder with 121 points. Oklahoma City scored 118 in the game prior. If the next NBA Finals game is won by the Warriors, they'll win the series 4-1. It will be the 118th game all time between the Cavs and Warriors. Perhaps all this was foreshadowed through the Warriors' regular season games against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who they defeated in the Western Conference. But just look at the score. The number of prophecy, the number of revelation, a sum of 227 points. The 49th prime number, Prince would die 49 days after the March 3rd game. And after his death, ESPN talked about the Golden State Thunder game that he was at all day. From that game, March 3rd, to yesterday's game was 99 days. The Bavarian Illuminati established on a date with 99 numerology. That's part of this Masonic Zionist Jesuit network. 99, that number in my mind now represents the Illuminati. So anyway, for more scripting, at the end of the game, a shirtless fan ran on the court with his chest painted "Trump sucks." And in my last NBA Finals video, I talked about the history of the NBA Finals and the presidency. Here's what's interesting to think about. In history, when the Western Conference Final, or when the team from the West has won the championship, there has been a Republican elected president. When a team from the East has won, a Democrat has been elected. This year, the Republican conventions in Cleveland, the Democratic conventions in Philadelphia. The Warriors originally from Philadelphia. Of course, the Cavs from Cleveland. In history, the NBA championship is connected to the presidency. The conventions are in the cities that are connected to the championship this year. Do you see how scripted this is? But it's worse than this. Shirtless fan with "Trump sucks" on chest tackled on court at NBA Finals. They referred to him as a streaker. Streaker has gematria of 97. The Cavs lost with 97. Donald Trump will likely be at the Republican convention later this year, which goes from July 18th to July 21st, a date that can be written 18/7 like the homicide code. Remember, in history, the San Ysidro massacre happened on July 18th, 187 days after the death of Ray Kroc. McDonald's is headquartered in Illinois in a town with 187 gematria. Our whole history is by the numbers. But anyway, the Republican convention runs from July 18th to July 21st. July 21st this year has 44 numerology, another number connected to killing. Anyway, Donald Trump is running a highly divisive campaign, centered around division, criticizing people based on race, religion, sex, handicap. The Civil War candidate. I've been talking about all this Civil War coding. Civil War equals 97, streaker equals 97, Cavs go down with 97 points. Yesterday, big 88 day, Trump equals 88. So does Mormon. It was Mitt Romney criticizing Donald Trump for being a racist yesterday, which is just pure comedy. These headlines only pass because people don't know what's going on in this world. The Mormon religion says that the closer you come to God, the whiter your skin becomes. How racist is that? Mormon equals 88, Trump equals 88, poison equals 88, program equals 88, Gordie Howe probably poisoned earlier in the day, dying at age 88. Trump sucks in gematria also sums to 161. June 10th is typically the 161st day of the year. He runs out with Trump sucks on the June 10th. In Pythagorean gematria, Trump sucks also sums to 35, 44, 53, 62. King James, very similar gematria. The NBA Finals began on 6-2. All of this stuff is interconnected. The golden ratio, very special ratio in mathematics, is 1.61. Phi is what the golden ratio is called. Phi has gematria of 33, like NBA Finals, like Cleveland. All of this stuff is synced up. This is why the score finished with 97. This is why a streaker ran on the court at the end of the game. This is what a scripted joke it is by the numbers. One of my readers, he let me know that this guy who ran on the court is a YouTube person. His name is Vitaly, whatever that last name is. Gematria of 89, just like King James. King James scored the 89th point last night as well. His YouTube channel is supposedly this, which has gematria of 161, just like Trump sucks. Also 44 the small way. He's said to be from this channel in Russia, or this city in Russia, gematria of 29 like Ohio. Good work here from my fellow reader. Born on March 8th, which can be written 8/3, 83, the 23rd prime, also connecting back to LeBron. This is how rigged the league is. Alright, so moving on, if you watched the game, you might have noticed they were advertising the third part of this Purge movie, Election Year, coming out in the election year. The Purge election year in gematria equals 106. They were running this ad yesterday, 10/6, a lot like 106, our number of prophecy, during Game 4, where Curry took the line with 106 points, putting in the final 2 points, making the score 108 for Golden State Warriors. This is really how scripted it all is. This is how the Masons and Jews run the show by the numbers in all things. News, movies, sports. It's all well planned out, and they've been operating this way for centuries. The release date, July 1st, 2016. This is a date with 44 numerology. July 1st can also be written 1/7, kind of like 17. The word kill equals 44 and 17, corresponding with the release date of the movie. If you don't know what these movies are about, they're about legalized killing. Very fitting. Talked about how Gordie Howe died 71 days after his birthday at the beginning of this video. 44 when written out, 71 when written out. They're the only numbers that sum to 144, which we're about to talk about in regards to the death of this young woman, the woman who supposedly won The Voice, Christina Grimmie. She was 22 years old. Basketball equals 22, a fitting age for a ritual sacrifice in regards to a basketball championship. Her birth name, Christina Victoria Grimmie, gematria of 137, which is the 33rd prime number. NBA Finals 33, Cleveland 33. The date she died, June 11th, 16, today, early this morning. A date with 33 numerology, 33, a number of sacrifice, often paired with 74. Her last name, Grimmie, in gematria equals 74. She was born March 12th, 1994. That's a date that can be written 12/3, kind of like 123 or 123. The word conspiracy equals 123. Where she died, Orlando, Florida. Gematria of 144. Number often connected to killing. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. When you write out April 4th, it sums to 144. Remember Villanova's star player, the point guard. He played in his 144th game on April 4th when Villanova won the championship over North Carolina, who was in their 106th year of a basketball program. The game before the championship, they defeated Oklahoma by a 44-point margin, a record, all scripted to the point. He had turned 22 the week before against Kansas in the big upset, 22 basketball, 144th game. It's scripted in the pros, it's scripted in college. If there's betting, if it's on TV, it's part of the script. The word killer in Jewish gematria equals 144. We always find this number around death. According to reports, she was signing autographs when she was shot and killed. I just want you to notice that the word autograph has gematria 44, just like kill. Signing autographs, 88. And yesterday, it was 88 overload in the media. They were coding 88 on everything. Her death in Orlando, in regards to the NBA championship being played in Cleveland hours before, instantly made me think of this. Remember, we talked about how Civil War equals 97. Cavs scored 97. This is a picture of Dylan Stormroof, the hoax shooter, accused of the Charleston church shooting, which never happened. Think about it. Supposedly they had this big massacre in the church, and then they had a church service just a few days later there. Meanwhile, at Sandy Hook, San Ysidro, they have to tear down the buildings when this happened. But here at the church, what a miracle. They just have the church service days later. The biggest frauds in this world you'll find in the church. People hiding behind the false religion, taking advantage of man, collecting their money and paying no taxes. Religion. Anyway, notice he has the 88 on his shirt. Cleveland, Orlando, Civil War, Confederate flag. Dylan Stormroof in gematria equals 74. They said he was a white supremacist, 74. The shooting happened on Calhoun Street, 74. He shot up Bible study class, which has gematria 47 and 74. Christian equals 47. He was arrested on Interstate 74, plus a whole lot more. He got a 33-count federal indictment. Ridiculous name, Dylan Stormroof. If you take out the storm and you just go with Dylan Roof, it equals 52 like prophecy. And all of these shootings, they're all part of this prophecy code. The book I'm almost finished with shows how all throughout history they've coded prophecy on this. At the Charleston church shooting, they had a fire truck parked out front. It had number 106 on the side. CNN was sure to have it in their shot the whole time. Number 106. The fire truck was flying a Tea Party flag. Tea Party equals 106. In history, the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing happened on a date with 106 numerology. That's where white supremacists planted a bomb at an all-black church, killing 4 little girls. Always by the numbers of prophecy. It's way bigger than sports. Again, my research did not start with sports. I figured out how sports was connected to the ongoing news, current events narrative. Anyhow, this girl that was killed, Grimmie, a kind of a name that sounds like death. Grimmie, Grimm. 74, like Masonic, like Jewish. The small way, Grimmie's 47. Zionist State of Israel recognized by a 33-member vote in the year 47. Her name was Christina, a re-scrambling of the letters for Christian. Christina 47, Christina Grimmie. Often find these numbers together. 33, 47, 74. Dead on a date with 33 numerology. From her 22nd birthday to her date of death, 91 days, we're seeing this number show up a lot in death. All I can assume that they mean when they code 91 is maybe liberty. Perhaps now you're free from this crazy world, In numerology, the numbers 1 through 9 are also very important. 1 the beginning, 9 the end. Perhaps this represents also the beginning and the end. We're seeing 91 a lot in death. Christina in gematria also sums to 101, like Philadelphia. A lot of this connected to Philadelphia, where the Pope departed from on the Jesuit order's birthday. They emphasized that she was the winner of The Voice. The word voice has gematria 54, like sun, like love. We often find this number paired with 93 in ritual sacrifice. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. The NBA Finals are heading back to Oracle. Oracle equals 54, having to do with future telling. Remember, the Warriors' win streak snapped at 54 games at home, a record. Oracle Arena equals 93, 54, and 93 often paired together. The basketball game was froze on 84 to 93. The word voice, the small way, also sums to 27. Think about musicians, the 27 Club. If you've never seen my work on that, almost every rock star who's died at age 27 had birth numerology of 27. The Voice, the small way, the show that she won has gematria of 42, Freemason 42, NBA Finals 42, Stephen 42, LeBron James 42, female 42, lady 42, bitch 42. Somehow it all connects. And then CNN has this tweet up. You gotta love it. 1:06 a.m., of course. This Grimmie story really hit me hard. She was one of my favorite celebrities growing up, and I watched all her videos. Now, personally, I've never heard of this girl before today. I can see why she was chosen for death. But I mean, who wrote this? Growing up, how long has this girl been around for? But don't forget who's responsible. The same people who run the show. You know, I was a younger man back in 2008 trying to tell everybody how Obama was a fraud, part of the gang, part of the tyrants who rule over us. I was living up in Seattle around all the sheeple who were just Obama crazy. I used to call them the Hope Bots. The Hope Bots. The word hope equals 44. Obama, the 44th president. But this is what it is. From the president to the sports to the movies to the record studios, the Zionist Jews, the Masons, they run it all. It's all scripted. It's all by the numbers. Think about how these people make the movies. They make the news. They make the sports games. They do it all the same way. You apply these gematria skills to your movies you're watching, your books you're reading, your New York Times bestsellers. They're all coded out. This is a major, important practice to these people. There's a reason all of my videos are suppressed. They don't want the people of the world to know that this knowledge is getting out. My goal is to end these people. So that we can have legit sports leagues, so that people don't have to be ritually sacrificed to enjoy the game, so the game doesn't have to have a predetermined outcome with overpaid athletes, Nobody needs to be getting paid millions of dollars to play sports. It's ridiculous. Fans paying $10 for hot dogs to support a rigged league run by tyrants. Let me see. Show you some more 88 yesterday. You got Mitt Romney, the Mormon up there. Where's he at? It was all about 88 yesterday. Mormon, 88. I don't want trickle-down racism talking about Trump. 119 gematria, all-seeing eye, 119. Star of David, 119. North Korean leader caught smoking during anti-smoking drive. This is national news in the United States. I mean, what a joke. Always telling us about North Korea, this little puppet state that has no influence on anything. Smoking 88. Help me spread this information so we can bring the tyrants to the end already, Way overdue. Until next time. Encore. I just want to point out where the young woman died, Christina Grimmie in Orlando, the Orlando Magic. They began their process of joining the NBA in 1988. In light of all the 88 yesterday, this is likely no coincidence. The word magic also equals 33. Dead on a date with 33 numerology in Orlando.